This is the plaintiff, James Mihalidakis. He says he and the defendant were Army buddies, and when they went on vacation together to California, he loaned him money for a plane ticket and expenses. Now, 3 months later, the guy's gone AWOL. Well, he tracked him down, served him with papers, and now here they are in court. He's suing for $1,444, the money he's owed. This is the defendant, William Bardesian. He says the plaintiff was desperate to go to California, didn't want to go alone, and agreed to pay for the whole trip. He made it crystal clear to the plaintiff he'd have no way of paying him back, and the guy told him, no worries. And now this, he's accused of discharging friendship.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you,
You're welcome.
Okay, James Mihalidakis?
Yes.
Okay, you are suing William Bardesian?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, for $1,444 that you say he owes you for a trip that you took with him and he was supposed to pay his share and never has. Okay, talk to me. Tell me what happened between you two.
So me and Bill agreed to go on a trip together.
How did you two know each other?
We knew each other from the Army about 5 years prior.
Okay.
And we agreed to go on a trip together to California for vacation, just for fun. Bill didn't have the money to go. I offered to lend him the money on the agreement that he'd pay me back. He agreed, and he never paid.
When did you get an inkling that he wasn't going to pay you back? What is his position? I'm about to ask him, but I want to know what you say he told you about paying you back.
Well, he said before we left that he'd be able to pay me back when he got his BAH check.
What's that?
That's the housing allowance for the GI Bill.
Okay.
He said he'd get that
And
approximately.
that for housing? Silly me. Okay, go ahead.
He said he'd get that approximately 1 month after we returned from California.
Okay.
And so when we got back, I expected him to pay me in a month. And in a month, he said that he never got his check. I don't know if that's true or not, but I took him on his word. And for another month, I tried to get him to go on a payment plan. I tried to get even a cent out of him, anything. He wouldn't pay anything. And after about 2 months, I realized he wasn't going to pay anything. And so I filed this claim.
Okay. What's going on?
Yeah, that sounds correct. We went to California.
So you owe him the money? That sounds correct?
No.
Except for that part. Okay,
right,
go ahead.
That's the one part that is not too correct.
All right.
But he called me, I don't remember the exact date. He called me sometime in the afternoon and was like, hey, you want to go to California? And I was like, yeah, sure. Expecting we'd make a plan a month out or something, to go to California. And I said, yeah, sure, let's make a plan. He says, all right, we're leaving this evening at 5.
You literally bought them for that night?
I don't believe it was that fast afterwards.
Oh, but it could have been?
I thought it was in the coming days, though.
Okay, and according to you,
it was that
night.
evening.
Okay.
Because I remember I was like, I'm not working. I'm unemployed. I have no potential income, and I'm sitting on $5 to my name. I was like, I can't go with you.
Maybe this is not a good time
if
for
it's
you
this
to go to
evening, yeah. I was like, I can't go. There's no way I can do it. And he said, hey.
You did.
Yeah, I did, because he said, hey, I'll cover you. I don't want to go by myself. And then I said, hey, I got a friend out in Temecula. Maybe we can spend a couple nights there. And he was like, yeah, that sounds good.
But what did cover you mean? That he'd loan it to you or that he'd give it to you as a gift? Because
he didn't wrap it up for me, but he didn't say I had to pay him back.
What did you think that it meant? Did you think it meant that he was going to pay your way to California and you would never have to pay him?
Correct.
Okay.
Because
and according to you, you made it clear that he would have to pay you back.
Right. We made it clear beforehand that he'd have to pay it back.
Did you ever tell him?
If that was the case, and I knew I would have to pay him back, I would never got on the plane. You know what I mean? I wasn't hot set on going to California. He just said he didn't want to go alone. He'd pay my way. So I said, sure, I'll go. And to tell you the truth, the best time was the weekend at my friend's house. The rest of the time, I was walking the razor's edge with my ex-friend here.
How do you mean?
He's hard to get along with, to say the least.
How?
And I just didn't like being with him because he makes everyone feel uncomfortable.
Such as?
Yeah,
give me an example of what you're talking about.
So we're in Temecula. My buddy's got 2 days off the weekend, So we were going to go frisbee golfing.
Frisbee what?
Frisbee golf with frisbees, yes.
I don't even know how that would happen. How would it happen?
You throw the frisbee at the hole. only it's not a hole, it's like
It's
a
something
chain.
else. Okay,
yeah,
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But so my buddy had two disc golfs, so we needed one more for Jim. So we go to the sports store to buy a disc golf. One disc golf is what we went to the store for. We were in the store for 3 hours, and he was looking at crossbows, guns, Rambo knives, like you name it. If you can kill something with it, he was looking at it. And so he comes out with a full arsenal ready to take on a small country. And he's got a crossbow, a Bowie knife, and I forget some other thing he got. I can't remember. But I remember the crossbow and the Bowie knife and the arrows. And so he's carrying that around with him. He's heart set on hunting. But we played Frisbee golf this day instead of hunting. So, and that was a good time. You know, we Frisbee golfed. It was all set. But then we left Temecula, and anywhere we went, he wanted to hunt. I think we pulled into a Subway where we didn't stay at a hotel or anything, so I cleaned myself up a little bit at the Subway.
Wait. Where were you staying?
To hunt across the street.
Where were you staying? In the car?
He stayed in the car. I stayed on the beach just to kind of get a little separation time, you know?
Okay.
So anyway, I bathed a little bit. I didn't get naked in the Subway, but I bathed in the Subway, you know, quick little.
You're not talking about an actual, you're talking about a Subway restaurant?
Subway restaurant.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, there's a nice field over there. Maybe we should take the crossbow out. We're in a residential area. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. And I don't want to be any part of that.
Okay.
So then, and when you say no to him, he gets very, very upset.
Okay.
You know, and so where are we now?
When you get to the airport, tell me about the, fascinated by, are you working now?
I'm a lobsterman now, yes.
Okay. You're what?
A lobsterman.
Okay. Does that mean what I think it means?
I catch lobsters.
Catch lobsters. Okay. So when you're boarding the plane back, tell me what happens with the weapons.
All right. So we didn't board at the same time. Like I said, kind of bathed up in the Subway. He made a shower of some sort for himself from a Poland Spring bottle. I don't even know if it worked because I didn't spend the time to find out.
Okay. Did he ask you to check in some guns?
Eventually.
Okay, can you get there?
Do you want me to just get to that?
Well, I don't know. I'd love to listen for the next several hours, but unfortunately, I have a few other cases outside, and I'm trying to.
I had him drop me off at the airport first because I was just like, I can't take it anymore. I can't be with you anymore. I need to just try to get another flight out of here ASAP, please. So he dropped me off at the airport, and then I don't know where he went to take his makeshift shower. But then I went out to smoke a cigarette after I'd gone through security and everything. And at this point, I see him coming in with a sheet and his bag. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is in this sheet? And unfortunately, he sees me, comes over to me, and he's all angry. He's like, oh, I just had so much trouble getting that Hertz rent-a-car in, you know, not proper airport etiquette. That's not the way you act at an airport. You don't get loud. You don't swear, especially when you got a sheet, not a suitcase, a sheet full of weapons.
Okay. Full of weapons?
Yeah.
That's what, the crossbow and the knife? And,
yes.
Wait,
yes.
But is he trying to go through security with that?
He wasn't. He had just gotten in there. He asked me. He said, hey, will you use your military ID and check this sheet full of weapons for me? All right. And meanwhile, at the same time, he's loud. He's upset about the way the sun was shining that day, amongst many other things.
Did you have a sheet filled with weapons?
No, I had a bag and it had a crossbow in it, and I checked the crossbow and went through. I never asked him to use his military ID.
Wait,
I have a military ID.
Wait a minute. They checked the crossbow on. You're sitting next to me with a crossbow on my airplane?
No, it's underneath the airplane in the bar.
Oh, you checked it in.
Right,
okay.
Right.
All right. And you have the same military ID he has?
Right.
Okay. So did you ever ask him to check in anything?
No.
Okay.
Objection. He did ask me. He did ask me to.
Wow. So according to you, if you knew you had to pay, you would never have gone.
Never.
He never told you you will have to pay me back. It was never your understanding you would have to pay him back, and you thought he just loved your sparkling personality and company so much that it would be worth fronting $1,500 or whatever you're claiming it is to have that presence there.
I do have a sparkling personality, Your Honor, but that's
Yes,
not
I'm
the
blinded.
only thing. He just doesn't.
I mean, I understood you had a
based
bad
on his
time. What I need to
personality-
know is what was the agreement beforehand? Do you have any emails with him or any text messages with him beforehand talking about the arrangement?
Not before. I have text message transcripts from afterwards where it's clear that he understands that he owes money. and-
Okay, can I see those?
Yes.
Okie dokie. All right, text from him. I lent you over $1,000 to go to California and you agreed to repay it. I'm not playing games. I already gave you 2 months. We are friends, but don't play with me, okay? And you answer, yeah, man. And the whole time in Cali, I didn't even get to enjoy myself because you were always upset and freaking out or doing something to just make everything uneasy. I wish I didn't go, dude. Not, what? I don't owe you money. You didn't front me money. I was never supposed to pay that.
It
In a
says
few
that in
minutes.
there?
Yes. No, it doesn't say what I just said. That was called sarcasm. What it says is, he says, I loaned you over $1,000, and your response isn't, no, you didn't. Your response is, yeah, and I didn't enjoy myself. That's your response. So if in fact you didn't expect to have to pay him, why one would expect that your immediate response would be, you're out of your mind. You didn't loan me anything. This was a gift.
Right. I had said that to him before previously.
Okay. Do you have a text
verbally.
where you say that to him?
No, that
okay.
was
Because,
verbally.
you know, when
Because-
someone texts me, you owe me over $1,000, I loaned you over $1,000. If they didn't loan me over $1,000, my first reaction would be, no, you didn't.
Right, but
it
at
would
this-
not be, yes, and I didn't enjoy myself because you were always upset and making me uneasy. I wish I hadn't gone.
Yes, Your Honor. But
Okay. Okay,
in that
you only owe,
situation-
this is
okay.
from you, you only owe $784. I just counted it. Sorry if I get too worked up. 744, I mean. Oh, wait, how much cash did I give you 2 days before we left? Was it 400?
And at this point, I was just yesing him to death because I just didn't want anything to do with it. You know?
Oh, so I shouldn't,
I just said-
shouldn't draw from your response that you're agreeing you owe money. I
No,
should
I
draw
don't
from
even-
your response that you're yesing him to death.
I just didn't want anything to do with him.
Well,
I
that's
knew I
fine, but you
didn't-
can
I knew I
understand
didn't know
how
him, and
somebody
I
in
mean-
my position wearing a black dress trying to figure out what factually is correct when I see you in writing saying, like virtually acknowledging the debt by saying, yeah, but I didn't have a good time. You're
a
not
debt.
saying you don't owe me
He
money.
did give me money. It was not a debt, though.
Oh, wait, how much cash did I give you 2 days before I left? I feel bad. I'm going to stop by there. Is there a cover? I don't know, man. Come by. All right. All right. Okay, now it's a few weeks later. It's okay. It's 1,244 you owe me. Then you offered him, can you pay $250 a week until the 1,244 is paid back? Yeah, I think I can do that. Got to talk to Annie, though. I'll be with her in a bit.
That's just prolonging the never gonna meet you.
Right. Why don't you show me the emails where you say, or the text where you say to him, I don't know what you're talking about. Why don't you prove up your version? Because he's proving up his.
I can Photoshop you a picture of me riding a unicorn, too.
Except for that's not what you said when I cross-examined you with it. What you said was, yeah, Judge, but I was just yesing him to death. So you neither denied it when I cross-examined you, nor denied it when he sent you the text.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So when somebody says, hey, dude, I'll cover you, is that a loan or is that a gift?
Sounds like a gift to me.
What do you say?
Because when they say I'll cover you, then it's saying that I got you covered. I'm not going to.
But does that mean I got you covered for now and you have to pay me back? What do you think?
No, I don't have to pay you back, I think.
You think it's a gift? What do you think?
I think it's a gift. When you say I'll cover you, it's not you. If you was a loan, you'd say, "Here, I'll loan you the money."
Okay, fair enough. I'm not necessarily. I'm 80% buying what you're saying. Going inside the courtroom.
Now, why does 1,244 become 1,444?
Because I didn't add up, I believe, the half of
Okay,
the
now let's do it
gasolines.
the other way. Show me the receipt for the plane ticket.
Okay, that's in there as well.
Okay, now, how much cash did he hand you for the trip?
$500.
Not 700?
No.
Do you have any proof that you loaned him 7 and not 5?
All I have is the bank statements for the cash that was withdrawn when I was in California.
Well, that's just going to show me how much cash was withdrawn when you were in California. That's not going to show me how much you gave him. All right. Now, tell me about the gas. How do you come up with $150 for his portion of gas? Do you have receipts for gas?
I have, again, in the bank statements, there's receipts for the gas money spent.
Circle the ones that are for gas, please. Hand this to him.
Your Honor,
Yes.
He said he would pay for my ticket out there. He said he would give me some spending money while you're out there. Give me. And now when he's trying to say, hey, you owe me this, then gas comes into play and a bunch of whatever else is on there. Like, I didn't need a car. I didn't need gas. I could have stayed at my buddy's house for the whole time.
So say he says otherwise. I don't know either one of you
Naturally.
from a hole in a wall. I find you eminently entertaining. But that doesn't mean I believe you more than I believe him.
Right.
My job, while I'm wearing this, is to figure out which of the two of you is telling the truth.
Correct.
So the devil's in the details. For me to figure it out, I have to try to figure out not what you say in court when both of you are trying to win, but what you said before when you thought no one was looking. Because you guys text each other, you guys email each other. So he apparently figured that out, went back and got the records from all of the texts. I'm looking at the text. You don't act like a guy who was just invited along and for a freebie. You act like a guy who is acknowledging that you got to pay him back. Then, there's, all right, how about a payment plan? I mean, come on. That kind of sounds like maybe your plan is to go ahead and pay them back. Were you expecting a check, by the way, for housing?
For housing, yes.
Yeah.
I was expecting. I didn't get because I withdrew from school.
Okay. I find that you are liable for the $542, which is the airfare. I find that you're liable for the $500 that you agree that he handed you at the beginning of the trip. And I find that you are liable for $113.33, which is all I can see in gas receipts. I find that your very language throughout all these texts indicates that you know that you're liable for that. And I find in favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $1,155.33. That's my judgment.
Well, let's see what the defendant has to say about this. The judge finds in favor of the plaintiff. Come in a little closer and tell me what's your reaction to that. Why would he turn on you like that? If it was a loan, why would he turn it around on you?
I don't know.
What happened? I mean, you guys were friends, right?
Yeah, I guess so, kind of.
You miss him as a buddy?
I miss the old him as a buddy.
Okay. All right. Around the corner.
All right.
Okay. All right. So come on in here and tell me what's your feeling on this outcome.
I think it was a good outcome. Most of the money that I'm owed, I was awarded back. So I think it was a good outcome.
Aren't you guys buddies through thick and thin after being Army pals?
Right. I would be Bill's friend again. I would loan him any money again, but I would be his friend again. Yeah.
Okay. What about that bizarre story about hunting in the residential neighborhood?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's true at all. I didn't try to go hunting in any residential neighborhood, so it was all fabricated.
All right. Let's go over to Harvey.
When somebody text message you or emails you and says that you owe them money, if you don't, you better text back and say, I don't, because if you sit there silently, it's going to cause you big problems. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.